Hello. Good morning, everyone, and hope you are having a productive and engaging day today in our ARC India Forum 2025. So I'm delighted to welcome you all to our next topic, which focuses on three critical pillars of modern industrial progress. That is industrial AI, asset performance management, and digital transformation. My name is Vidya, and I'll be moderator for this session. So our first presentation will be delivered by Mr. Octavio Pascal, Electronic Intelligence Agent, Novasar, who will be speaking to us on AI-tomation, how to improve your control system capabilities in OPAS context. So Mr. Pascal will explore how artificial intelligence can enhance control system with the open process automation framework. And second presentation will be jointly delivered by Mr. Fanit Suvanmani from Kuala Lumpur Technology Center Digital Operation Lead and Zulfami Amran, Monitoring Visualization Product Manager, Innovation and Business Transformation, Specialty Product Solution, ExxonMobil. So they will be speaking to us on out-of-the-box integration, digital reality ecosystem from asset to process data. So this session, they'll be talking to us, taking us through how ExxonMobil is connecting physical and digital realities to enable a unified ecosystem that spans from asset-level data to process-level intelligence. So now I would like to invite Mr. Octavio Pascal from Novasar on the stage, please.
Good morning, everyone. I hope you understand me correctly, since I have a very native accent from UK or somewhere else. So I'm work by Novasar, Brazilian company. I'm gonna say a little bit about the company, but I try to have some joke here with the name of my presentation between automation and AI. So that's why AI-tomation. And the idea to bring this theme to you is not so because you have some there is very deep in AI for OPAS, but as you can check in like the gurus of LinkedIn, first you will start and then you improve. I don't know if people here used to have these messages on the LinkedIn, but in Brazil nowadays, a lot of people do this. So why I'm telling this? OPAS is something which is relatively new, right? So yesterday I had the opportunity to present to you a roadshow there. I think a lot of you could join us with our presentation to know a little bit about the technology. And since SMART is working hardly to have some solution on it and contributing with the OPAF to bring the technology to this brand new automation concept, in Novasar we started to think about how AI could be joined to OPAS. So the first task for us is to bring a robust OPAS solution, which we are pursuing. We already have something. We are having so many interactions with other vendors that are participating of OPAF, and this is the first goal of our OPAS development. But since everybody's talking about AI, and you are having some AI solutions in legacy and conventional automation systems, why not to bring it to OPAS? And the idea is to address something that you can rely on our OPAS architecture and give some insights for you. Something that is in a roadmap to be released something in 2026. So it's a brainstorm nowadays, but is where you try to recognize the places where you can put AI, okay? So just a little bit about Novasar. We are a Brazilian company, more than 50 years. So we started with sugar plants, maintenance services, and then I migrated to instrumentation and control due to the electronic era of development. So nowadays we have an Indian partner, which is Baldota company, And we have these product lines and services in automation in instrumentation. So, but the main point is that Smart is a OPAF member since 2019. So when OPAs started to come to other companies, Smart just took that idea that OPAs might bring to the end user, and we thought, since the beginning of our development in control system, we are very committed to have open technology for the end user. So that's why we have the Foundation Field Bus. Foundation Field Bus was supposed to be something which more open and more flexible for end user. And we have some commercial line for OPA since 2023. And I will divide this presentation in 3 topics. First of is data. Second is in AI in industry. Third is the OPAs. You may know a lot about OPAs because I heard that last year it was very strong point in the RC Bangalore, and because of our presentation yesterday. But I want like to address something different on the architecture, and then to bring to you what are the points that you are pursuing to have AI on OPAs, okay? So first of all, let's talk about data. This is something that I always bring to presentations when I was engineering, also professor in university for automation subjects, is a different concept between automation during the years. So on the beginning, on the past, what's automation supposed to aim? What are the goals of automation? Was to automate process. So since it was most of the process manually, the automation could bring to us technologies and ways to automate it to bring some kind of better performance and to optimize something. But nowadays, automation is mostly to generate data. So since you are talking about a very low layer in industry, which is the field instrumentation, and this layer of our plants generate data, this could bring to upper layers much easier for this data to get insights for decision making. And this is very important because nowadays we are having the data-driven times. So the companies are becoming to operate data-driven. So they decide how to do, how to make, how to improve themselves based on data. But if you remember the very beginnings of automation, it was a mess, the messages, because we didn't have some standardized communication in industry. So you need to have a lot of drivers to communicate machines, to communicate PLCs, to communicate controllers. And it has changed a little bit when OPC-way come to the scene. Because also had the OPC communication, and we are talking not only OPC-way, which is the most modern framework of communication that we have nowadays for controllers, but even the classical OPC is well used nowadays and came to us with a very easy and standardized way of information. So this was the first time that we heard about standardizing data for industries. Okay? And what would be ideal? It would be ideal to have architectures that allow data flow between layers and device, from where the data is generated to where it's needed. So if I have a data being generated in the field of the plant, in the plant field, and you need that data on the management layer, it would be very nice to have an architecture that can connect these 2 layers easily. And this allows all to have a unified data lake, because nowadays most of the companies are data silos. So many part of the companies has the data base which are not integrated, so you cannot have correlation between the areas. And one of the things that OPAS can bring to us is to have a standardized data from scratch with the OPAS signal. So when you talk about OPAS, and this is one of the questions that most part of end users have about connecting legacy systems with OPAS, is how can I can have this data traffic during, between my DCNs in the correct way. So OPAS define the OPAS signal, which is a very simple kind of signal that carries all the information needed to be processed by the OPAS applications. And what are the challenges? First, how to collect, do system communications, how to process, have standardization, data standardization, how to protect, having cyber security, how to store, have data lakes, how to context, having systems integration, and how to use. That's where we can find artificial intelligence in the industry. Okay, going further to artificial intelligence in the industry. So, why AI is so hyped nowadays in industry? Because of optimization, because of maintenance improvement, because of real-time decision making. I will not go into the asset management with AI field, because I think there are a lot of people here that are already working on it, but it's where you can find AI. So, but in an automation system, in a production plant, in a process plant, we have an eternal war between cost, time, quality, safety, sustainability, security, etc. So is that thing. How can I talk about Industry 4.0 if I need to have some kind of digitalization, but I cannot put my plant connected to the internet? Because I can have some kind of hacker attack, my plant may become not so secure about it. And so, how can AI, that is something that's supposed to be running on a cloud, on the internet, to have data from a lot of database on the net, can be connected to my system. So this is one of the challenges that you have in production process nowadays. And on industry, what are the main points that you can check? First, as co-pilots, having co-pilots that can help engineers to have better projects. And agents, having autonomous AI agents that can automate some tasks. And one point that we're seeing some developments, actually for ladder logics and so on, is to have automation plus LLM. So having natural language, you can find some tools for very specific projects, products that can have machine integration, PLC configuration, and report generation through natural language. So bring this to us, how could you use it in OPAS? And this is an evolutionary graphic of the history of automation. So if we start from the scratch, you have the manual operation. After that, you could use some basic automation and go in with the advent of DCS and distributed communication to centralize the operation, which you have mostly nowadays in the plants. But after that, we had a transition to use AI in our plants. First, using predictive AI, which is mostly used for asset management, for example, which is something that use statistical models to forecast the future, let's say that, to see when an asset is going to have some problem, we need some kind of maintenance. And then we could have a prescriptive AI using that in the industry, which the AI will give us inside what to do. So maybe is the next point that you need to achieve. But on the end, you can have also intelligent operations. So the plants could be operated, self-operated, with the operators just to supervise it. Talking about OPAS, this is the very standard architecture. I'll not go further deep into it. But the idea here is to show you that even this standard architecture about OPAS doesn't show some points that are important on an OPAS architecture. Because here you focus mostly on the DCNs, on the OCF, on the interface that you can have with legacy systems and so on. But if you mix together AI, data, and OPAS, and having this practical architecture that you have in our booth, if you want to see with more details later, you can check that you have an engineering tool, we have an orchestrator, which is responsible for the system management, deployment of application, and so on. And you can have also the part of the I/O integration. And with this, how you can achieve how you can use AI. That was the insight that you get with our team in our R&D development in Brazil. First, to have a Gen AI assisted configurator. Since you have a Opus configurator, why not to embed some kind of co-pilot to help us in the tasks? Second, having the orchestrator, which is the one central point of the architecture, have some AI-based system management. And also having the signal from the data from the field, why not to have a standardized data lake, which we can use AI to generate patterns or to make some data analysis. And with this, we can go deeper on each of these 3 points. First of all, our engineer solution with the Novasar CSB is the system configurator. Having AI used as co-pilot, in short time, we are pursuing to have a natural language support strategy configuration. In which way? I can go there and just ask how to create a simple PID control loop. This could be used for projects, it could be used for training, and etc. So after that, I can have not a generation of an image, I will not think about it, but to have some guidelines to create something like this, which is a control loop created in our strategy. Or how to parameterize a PID function block. What are the main parameters that you can have in a function block, in a PID, to have the most correct parameterization of a system? So with that, we can have the information that you can fill in the function block for the correct functioning of the system. And in a long time, having some kind of image analysis, you could even, who knows, why not, having a PNID and generating the scheme of the strategy as well. So it's something that's not feasible nowadays, but who knows. We have a lot of AI agents that can do this kind of analysis for us. Good. About the orchestration, I would say that the orchestrator is the big brother of the system, the eyes that see everything. So having system management, we can check how is the health of our system. And the orchestrator is responsible to automate tasks. If it's automated by design, even if it's not made by AI agent, why not to put some AI on it? So what you have now are IT tools that are used for balancing, deployment, and management. And you can use, for example, the Kubernetes to be using this kind of application, which is not so AI-based. And with this, we can have load peak prevention, scaling, triggered prior real demand. Because if you start to deploy applications in our system, you need to know how further can you go. How are your resources? So having this insight from the system management is something that you already have with this kind of tools, even without AI. And how can AI shall be used here? It's the idea of the playbooks or recipes, because Opus is known to be a multi-vendor system. So each vendor has its own way to deploy applications. And I'm talking about how the configuration will be exported, the determined file that you have to import to our DCNs, which are the applications to be deployed on the DCNs, how it should be done. So I have receipts to do it. And also we have an AI agent inside working along the orchestrator. This AI could help manage to differentiate this kind of receipts and have more optimization in deploying applications. So, and the last part, the AI field data analysis. Once you have the information, how can you get this data analysis? One important point in Opus is that Opus doesn't define, the standard doesn't define what you do in your function block in your application, but define the interface that your application must have. Because having Opus signal, which carries a lot of information, Opus define how your software or application can be attached to this data and then to perform what this application is supposed to perform. So having this in mind, a developer could develop anything for Opus, just have in mind this kind of interface. And with this, should be possible to have an AI agent for data analysis, specifically for Opus signal. Because having this standardized from scratch, you're gonna have like a more flat data lake, having the same kind of information. Okay? So with this, having an unbehaved process control, having the open signal data lake, and having AI-based data analysis, we could just easily define new control tunings and control solutions, and then feedback from the control to have a parameters correction. Okay? Just finish here. Which end user's point can be, each user pain point can be healed? First, with the Nova CSB, this is something that we are checking for the experience and checking how engineers are doing, what they are missing, the lack of the engineering that you have, maybe just only in Brazil, but having this approach for world. Having this AI gen-assisted configuration, less time to create strategies, because having these models already defined by this AI, it could be helped. More complex strategies being learned by the system, because once you train this AI copilot with small control strategies, you can go further than to train with more complex control strategies. Cleaner configurations, there is something that we're gonna have an impact in the performance of our system, because you just put cleaner, less information for the DCN, so you can optimize your project, and more complete documentation. I'm seeing in Brazil, it's a huge problem that the engineers are stopping to take care about the documentation. So having this documented by some kind of AI, it could be used to get a better documentation. For orchestrator, is optimization of multi-vendor receipt. So having a lot of vendor systems working together, it could be good to have an AI to manage it. And for AI field data analysis, having a data lake specialized in open signal and having specialized AI tools for data analysis for open signal, we could be used for a better data analysis in Opus context. Okay, guys, this was I was expecting to show you. Again, this is a roadmap to be released, to start to be released next year, just insights about how AI can be used in Opus architecture. It was a pleasure to talk with you. We can talk further later about it, and thank you for your attention.
Thank you so much for such a comprehensive presentation.